Each theme holds a specific vibration and energy, and that is the vibration and energy that our consciousness is holding. And therefore, that is what is affecting our belief systems and our thoughts and our actions and our perception of our entire life. Hello, welcome to this channel where we talk about spirituality, self-healing, yoga philosophy, and everything related. I just wanted to give a brief explanation about what the themes of consciousness are, because I know that not many people know about them. This is a map of the evolution of all human consciousness. So from the very lowest vibrational frequency that we can experience as humans, which is shame and rejection, all the way up to the very highest vibration and frequency that we can experience as humans, which is enlightenment. And this ladder has just broken down that journey into specific steps. This is also your awakening of your Kundalini energy, your Kundalini rising. It's the same thing. And this applies to all of humanity. While healing isn't linear, it does happen in these identifiable steps. And knowing each of these steps can change the way that you look at your own healing journey and others. So in order to understand the themes of consciousness, first we have to understand what consciousness really is. So how I like to think of consciousness is, you know that diagram that has the tree, and you have the roots are your belief system, maybe the branches are your thoughts, and maybe the leaves are your actions, or something like that. Well, I like to think of consciousness as the soil that the tree is planted in. Your consciousness is the operating system of your whole human self that actually impacts your belief systems, your thoughts, and your actions. So by improving the quality of the soil, we naturally can improve the quality of the roots of the belief systems, of the branches of your thoughts, and the leaves, your actions. The higher themes are actually the ultimate truth of all existence. The higher themes are what everything would be if it was in its most optimal, truest form. This is the earth in its optimal state of health. This is the trees and the plants vibrating at the very highest frequency possible. And it's also us in our optimal state of our highest truth, of love, of freedom, of peace, and of joy. All of the energies below this truth, all of the themes that are, especially the themes of wounding, they are the opposite of the truth. They are layers of protection, layers of lies. We come to this planet to experience those denser energies so that we can learn to transcend them, to remember our ultimate truth, which is the higher themes. At its very lowest expression, this is the opposite of life. This is rejection of life itself, rejection of ourselves. And the themes of wounding, courage, and below are the most dense and the hardest to move through, but they're also the most necessary for us to experience, to learn how to move through them, to evolve our consciousness, which at the end of the day is what we came here to do. This is also why the lower themes are the most confusing for us. They're the darkest. They are the furthest from the truth, and so they feel like confusion. When you're experiencing a wound, when you're in a triggered state, when you haven't processed trauma, you feel a lot of confusion around it. There's a lack of clarity. That's because it is separated from the truth. So by using the themes of consciousness to move just one step up, and then another step up, and then another step up, more clarity and more truth comes into your awareness. That is how you heal those lower themes. When I say higher and lower, these really are unideal terms to be talking about these things, because the words higher and lower have positive and negative connotations to them. Our evolution and all of these themes actually exist on a circular spectrum. There is none that is better than or worse than another. They just have different experiences and qualities and consequences to them. But without knowing the untruth, how can we know the truth? Without experiencing rejection, how can we experience love and freedom? So it's important not to enter this journey with an idea that you have to reach the higher themes. The whole point is that the lower themes are just as important. They're just as relevant. They might be more painful for our human selves to experience, but that doesn't make them less than or less important. Having them in this ladder formation just makes it easier for our logical, linear minds to conceive of all the steps that make up the journey. And by categorizing them and methodically working through them in these steps, it helps us to heal. But we have to recognize that there is no goal of healing. There is no end point where we finally reach, and that's that. The purpose of these themes is not to escape the lower themes. It's just to learn how to deal with them. We will all experience all of these themes at different points and in different areas of our life. So it's important to know how to deal with them, how to approach them, and how to heal from them when they do arise in our lives, rather than approaching this journey with the sole focus of never experiencing those lower themes anymore, because that is not what we came here to do. We came here to experience the density so that we could experience the light. The themes help us to identify where we are still holding on to some kind of wounding or trauma or negative experience. We can understand the root programs that are running our lives, the frequencies that we are vibrating at, where we're getting stuck, and where we need to go next. Everything that we need to do in our healing journey is relative to where we are currently on that scale. And each theme has its own specific healing and lessons. This is why some teachings might actually do more harm to someone, because the healing relevant for someone who is living in a wound of fear would be completely different to the healing for someone who's living in the wound of rejection. Each theme is a very specific energy. And in order to move that energy, we can't just jump from one energy right up to another. We have to gradually get there, gradually increase the energy. For example, telling someone in the wound of rejection, someone who has yet to process all of their traumas, whose body, mind, and soul are being completely weighed down by this dense, confusing energy, where their traumas are still impacting every single moment of their day. Telling them a teaching like just be present isn't going to actually help them heal that trauma unless their consciousness is ready for it. Simultaneously, telling someone who has just come out of a really traumatic situation to just be happy, to just have a positive mindset. This is spiritual bypassing. This is toxic positivity. Because for those people, being present and being happy isn't what is needed. What's needed is for them to be helped, for them to be loved, for them to feel safe enough to be present with their own inner world, with their own inner feelings, to be given strength to face their traumas before they can just be present and at peace and happy in their lives. And while a goal of healing might be to feel positivity, to feel happiness, and to be present in every moment, that particular teaching might not be relevant to someone who is struggling so heavily with trauma. Instead, they need to follow the specific steps. They need to feel their abandonment and their rejection wounds, and they need to learn to heal from that. Then they need to judge the people who did abuse them, the people who did deceive them. And this will lead them to feeling overwhelmed by all of the feelings and emotions and traumas that they're going to have to deal with. This will lead them to feeling the loss and grieving all the time, all the love that they missed out on because of that trauma. This then pushes them into fear, where they might feel afraid of what's going to happen now. Afraid of, what if I don't heal this? What is my life going to look like once I do heal this? And this pushes them into desire, where they desire more for themselves. And you'll notice the difference between rejection, when maybe you no longer want to live because the pain is just too much, going through all of those steps until you actually desire more for yourself. That's an increase in energy. Desiring more for ourselves leads us to feel angry about what we have missed out on, and angry for making positive change in our life, which leads us to feeling pride. It leads us to feeling proud for how far we've come, for everything that we have been through to get to this point, which leads us into courage, where we feel like we can face our traumas. We can face the world. We can face every challenging situation in our life head on because we want better for ourselves. And once we've felt that we have dealt with all of the traumas and all of the challenges of life, then we start to feel ease and neutrality. We put down our weapons and we say, okay, I just want to be peaceful now. And then we realize this isn't true peace. I think there's more. And we go searching for something even higher than that, which is self-motivation. And our self-motivation pushes us to do better and better and better until we finally realize, what are we pushing ourselves towards? What is the end goal here? And this makes us accept, and we come into the theme of acceptance, that there is no end goal. There is nothing to achieve. There is nowhere to get to. There is nowhere to be except right here, right now. And so we begin to accept everything, all of the darkness and all of the light. We accept it all just as it is. And as we come to accept the world as it is, and we see the world as it is, we start wanting to understand the world in a deeper way. This is when we're in the theme of reason and logic, where we're trying to understand, make sense of everything that's going on around us with acceptance, almost like a scientist objectively observing the world and understanding all that we can about it, until eventually we might realize, why are we trying to understand the world? Why not just be in it? Why not just experience it? And this pushes us into the theme of love, where we see everything as love. Love becomes all there is. All of our trauma, all of our challenges, as well as all of the beauty. It's all just the universe loving us. It's all opportunities for us to love even deeper. And this simultaneously brings a huge state of peace, until eventually we move from peace to freedom and enlightenment, where our existence becomes blissful and limitless. The themes of love, peace, freedom, and enlightenment are so rarely reached because that is where we are as a society right now. We may just catch glimpses of true unconditional love every now and then. And because we experience these themes on a spectrum, and we experience multiple all at once, and we experience different ones at different areas of our lives, at different times of our lives, we will always be moving through them, fluctuating on this beautiful rainbow spectrum. There is no end goal. There is nowhere to be except right here, present with the current theme that you're experiencing. By understanding where we are, where we have been, and where we're going, it gives us a greater perspective of life and of our life's challenges, which allows us to tackle them in a more conscious way with more clarity. When we understand that what we're going through right now is just a step on the journey, we can almost take a step back and see how this theme that we're experiencing might just be temporary, and that there is something that you can do about it. There is something that you can heal within yourself to move into a different theme if you want to. If you enjoyed this video, or if you'd like to see more, please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Namaste.